Hi, I'm Deb McIntosh, the host of Upfront. We are at the Millennium Park downtown Castlegar, and I have the privilege today of interviewing Mayor-elect Kirk Duff and Councillor-elect Brian Bogle. It's an exciting time, folks. Hi. Brian, congratulations on the win. Huge.
Thanks, Deb.
Obviously, I'm going to ask you, how are you feeling? What's it like being councillor-elect?
Well, it feels really good. I can't go to the grocery store in and out in 5 minutes anymore, though, that's for sure. I've had lots of people reaching out, congratulating me, asking me lots of questions, but it's great. It feels really good.
Yeah, life as you know it is over. You know that, right? Yeah, you are now going to be inundated wherever you go. But you know what? Having a councillor that is responsive, like the ones we have now, is a good thing. And I think you're an asset to the community, and I'm thrilled that you got elected. So I wish you well in this term. So we have a few questions that people submitted to us online that they would like to know the answers to. Now, there's no right or wrong answer, of course. It's simply your opinion on things, and not having been in there, you don't know a lot of the background stuff. So if I ask you something and you're unsure, you can absolutely say, well, I'm unsure, but I'll get back and answer it. Okay? So one of the first questions that came up was, what are your ideas around preserving green space, especially on the 14th Avenue?
Well, 14th Avenue is currently privately owned. I'm not sure what the zoning is on it. My understanding would be that any rezoning would have to go through City Council and the city for processing. I know the official community plan has some wording preserving green space, but until there's a proposal coming forth, I couldn't say one way or another what's going to happen there. It would be up to the landowner to come to the city and have a proposal if that's indeed what the plan is for that property.
So let's ask an overall question. How are you feeling about looking at the greater area to preserve green space as it is now and saving it from development or whatever else is coming our way?
Well, I think any development needs to be managed. And if we can preserve green space and mandate it into new developments and keep the lots at a reasonable size and keep some green space for parks, recreation, or use, would be really advantageous to the community.
So Brian, one of the other questions we have is Castlegar is about to explode. We're really coming into some good stuff. But are people really ready, do you think, for the impacts that come with fast growth, managed growth, but fast growth?
Well, again, I think the responsibility of the city and City Council in particular is to ensure that the growth is managed and it's carefully considered. We can't rush into anything. Each project, for lack of a better word, needs to be looked at individually, researched, and come to a decision based on the need and the merit, and at the expense of tax, possible raising of taxes as well.
Do you yourself feel that we're on the verge of something bigger? Do you feel the growth of Castlegar?
I feel that Castlegar is going to grow, yes, but I felt that for the past 10 years for sure, since we moved here 15 years ago, and the last 10 years I keep hearing about it, seeing it, possibly starting to come, but I haven't seen it yet. But it is going to be here for sure, and we need to ensure that it's what the people want and that it is managed properly.
Hi Kirk and Brian, it's Jordan Speedoff with a question about housing. As both of you campaign on the need for more housing in our region, how will you ensure that we have a regional plan with Nelson and Trail to ensure that nobody goes without a home?
I think once the housing strategy survey, I believe it's finished now, once it would come to council, we would have to look at that, see what we can implement, and then reach out to the neighboring communities and try to find a cohesive plan that works for everybody particularly in approaching the provincial government and Interior Health for services, I believe that a larger group would have more impact.
Hi, my name is Sarah Brownlee and I have two questions. My first question is, what made you decide to run for mayor or council? My other question is, what is the biggest attribute that you bring to our council or as mayor that you have not seen before in any other candidates? Thank you so much and congratulations again on the win.
In my time in Castlegar, I don't believe anybody has actually been the manager of a large chain store where you're interacting with over 100 employees, thousands of customers every week, and also answering to your bosses and the shareholders. And that's a difficult balance because the shareholders in this case are the taxpayers of Castlegar, and that's who I believe that City Council has to answer to.
I love the fact that you're including the citizens in Bryan. It's really important to engage them, and yeah, I think that's wonderful. And I think the 1,200 people that voted see that wow factor in you, and whatever it is to them. So we've also got questions about increasing food security for our area. What does that mean to you, and how do you see that coming together?
Well, by food security, I think I would look at it two ways. One is ensuring that we have a steady source of food coming into the community, as well as ensuring that the food that is being produced is produced in a safe, like a food safe manner for everyone. And that is a really big involvement because of necessary things that large stores in particular need to know about how food is produced and what the producers are doing basically from the start of growing to the time it leaves their farm. Again, we're subject to some issues with if the road's closed, stuff doesn't move, and that's just unfortunate with the way we're located with two major highways that can be definitely impacted in the wintertime.
So we had talked just prior to this interview, and you had mentioned maybe taking an inventory of local regional stock around here, farms, dairies, mass-produced produce and stuff. Is that something you would bring to council to maybe work on to see a bigger picture of how we can sustain ourselves? Because what happened with the pandemic, as soon as that hit, people went and bought everything, and it was a scary time. So that means that those that have get, and those that don't have at the time don't get. So they're planning for that type of.
It would be definitely something that council could investigate. I think we'd be surprised how many small local food producers there are out here, in the larger area of the Kootenays.
Yeah, and making them part of the Castlegar plan, that is something you would bring forward.
Yes.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So I'm going to ask you how you feel as to joining an existing council with the new mayor, of course, and how you feel how you fit in. What is it that about this particular time or this particular council that you wanted to run for council at this time?
Well, I've had an interest in municipal politics since I was a teenager. Every community I've lived in, I've followed closely what's going on in council. With my job previously, at times some of the decisions can be a little controversial, so we were not told we couldn't, but it was sort of suggested it would be best, to stay out of it while we were working. When the by-election happened, I thought, okay, I've got the time and a definite interest, so I thought, okay, I'm going to put my name out there.
And many are glad that you did, for sure. So one of the things with being a counselor, and again, we talked about this prior to the cameras, is that people are phoning you and stopping you in the store, and what kind of concerns are coming forward? And are you ready to be inundated with issues day in and day out?
Well, yeah, I'm ready for it because I used to get inundated with that sort of issues at work as well. I haven't really had anybody with any concerns yet. People have just been reaching out and offering congratulations. But, you know, most people know me. They know I'm approachable. And if I don't know the answer to something, I'll do my best to find it out.
Right. And that's good. That's the sign of a good politician right there. Because oftentimes everybody feels that you need to have the right answer. And we all know that whatever answer you give, 50% of the people aren't going to be happy with it. So that's great. Stick to your convictions for sure. I want to ask you about your thoughts on the Columbia Avenue work that's being done. Do you have any comment on how it's been going? Do you think it was the timing is right with borrowing money? Is it a project that you would have supported?
I would have supported the project, yes, based on what I know. Definitely would have supported it because of, you know, the grants that were available, the need for the infrastructure upgrades. Yes, I was very supportive of it, and I would like to compliment the crew from CopCan that is doing the work. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. You know, people are smiling, waving at you as you go past, and I just think they've done a fantastic job.
Absolutely. I kind of watch their faces as you're going through to see if anyone's had a hard day or whatever. You can usually tell. And there's a lot of smiles out there, and I think they're really happy with the work that they're doing as well. I'm really pleased with it as well.
And I think the fact that the weather cooperated really helped too.
Absolutely. Now, in the time of COVID, all your meetings are going to be held via Zoom. So you don't get the feel and the cohesiveness of being in the same room and having that discussion. How are you with Zoom meetings and doing homework separately from everyone else to find out? Because consensus building is important.
Absolutely. I have to say, the first all candidates forum we did was the first time I'd been on a Zoom meeting, and it is really different staring at yourself while you talk. Yeah. But as far as the Zoom meetings, I'm very comfortable with it, and I have no problem, you know, during the meeting speaking up, or, you know, if I'm not sure of what is being said, you know, I'll ask for clarification and understanding. And it would be nice to be able to see everybody face to face, because like you say, that part of it is very important. But I'm fortunate to already be acquainted with all of the other councillors and our newly elected mayor. So it's going to be different, but I think it's very doable. And hopefully this COVID will be over soon. But
yeah, I think we're all hoping that for sure. Well, Brian, I want to congratulate you once again on a well-run campaign. I think you're an asset at the table, and I wish you nothing but success. And I hope that this short term will be a learning experience and encourage you to go on in your political life. So thank you very much.
I appreciate that.
Thanks.